Footage courtesy of News Now Yorkshire, providing real insights into UK police encounters and accountability. This clip has been edited and used for commentary and educational purposes based on the original video.
Who are you filming? What is it that you're filming?
Quiet, 1 second.
We kind of need to know because you're filming the car park and the police station, officers' personal vehicles.
I'm not filming personal vehicles.
Right, so we need to know what you're doing.
Well, I was going to tell you, but you didn't let me finish, so now I'm not going to.
Okay, why are you being difficult? Obviously it's security reasons. You're filming a car park full of police officers' personal vehicles. You're filming the entry to a police station, so we need to know what it is that you're doing for security reasons. I'm not trying to be difficult with you. I'm trying to be reasonable.
So why didn't you let me finish?
Because I need to know what you're doing.
Was it that?
And you're not telling me.
Was it that desperate?
Yeah, it is, yeah.
Well, now it's going to take you longer, isn't it?
Right, why are you being difficult?
Why was you difficult? I missed another one now.
Right from the opening seconds, there's no slow build, no easing in, just immediate confrontation. The moment begins with officers stepping in and demanding answers. Who are you filming? What are you filming? It's rapid, direct, and already loaded with suspicion. There's a clear sense that the presence of a camera has instantly triggered concern, especially given the setting, a police station car park where personal vehicles are involved. But what really sets the tone here isn't just the questioning. It's the pace and pressure behind it. The officers don't ask once and wait. They repeat, interrupt, and close in verbally, making it clear they expect compliance, not conversation. And yet, the filmer doesn't immediately submit. Instead, there's a subtle resistance, a refusal to be rushed, a pushback against the tone being set. That's where the tension begins to take shape. The officer frames the situation as a security issue, suggesting that filming personal vehicles is inherently suspicious. But at the same time, the justification feels broad, almost preloaded, as if the conclusion has already been reached before any real explanation is given. The filmer even attempts to speak, but the moment slips, he's cut off, talked over, and then chooses to withdraw cooperation entirely. Now, I'm not going to. That single shift changes everything. What could have been a simple exchange instantly turns into a standoff. The officer labels the behavior as difficult, while the filmer flips that same accusation right back. Now it's no longer just about filming. It's about control, tone, and who dictates the interaction. Be why the end of this segment, one thing is clear. This is not going to be a routine encounter. The groundwork for a much larger conflict has already been laid, and neither side looks ready to back down.
Right, so you're filming police vehicles going into the police station. What's all that about? What's your name? You're going to tell us your name or your address or who you are.
What's your name?
PC Jones 3540.
And your name?
PC 2855.
2855.
Are you going to tell us your details?
No.
Okay, we will require your details under Section 50 of the Police Reform Act. Anyone that's suspected to be involved in antisocial behaviour, we can't identify what it is that you're doing or the reasons why you're doing it. Potentially you're videoing police officers' personal vehicles for antisocial reasons, so we will require your details.
What's the reasonable grounds?
Yeah, as I just said, on suspicion of antisocial behaviour.
Yeah, but what's the reasonable grounds that you suspected I'm committing antisocial behaviour?
You stood with your hood up in a dark little snicket behind everyone's personal vehicles, covered your face, and you're filming. We're not being difficult.
It's quite a warm night, isn't it? There's no reason to be wearing all black with your hood up and your face covered. You're not standing anywhere near anyone else, so there's no reason currently for you to have a mask over your face.
As the interaction moves forward, the tone hardens, and the conversation shifts from questioning to authority. What started as curiosity now becomes a demand. The officers pivot quickly, asking for the filmer's name, address, and identity, signaling a clear escalation. This is no longer about what he's filming. It's about who he is. Then comes the key moment, Section 50 of the Police Reform Act is introduced. This is where the encounter takes on real legal weight. The officers claim they suspect antisocial behavior, using that suspicion as grounds to require identification. But here's where the tension deepens, because the suspicion itself feels thin, built more on appearance and assumption than on any concrete action. The justification? Wearing dark clothing, having a hood up, covering his face, filming near police vehicles individually. These are weak indicators. But combined, the officers present them as enough to justify their suspicion. It's a classic stacking of circumstances, turning ordinary behavior into something that sounds suspicious when framed a certain way. And this is exactly where the filmer pushes back, that he doesn't raise his voice. He doesn't escalate emotionally. Instead, he challenges them with something far more effective: questions. Calm, precise, and focused. What are your reasonable grounds? It's a direct challenge to their authority, forcing them to justify their actions beyond vague suspicion. The officer's response reveals a critical dynamic, a reliance on subjective interpretation rather than objective evidence. And when the filmer suggests that he understands the law, the tone shifts again, with a hint of defensiveness creeping in. Now the roles begin to blur. The officers are asserting control, but they're also being tested. The filmer is under pressure, but he's not yielding. He's dissecting their reasoning in real time. That'll be why the end of this segment. The stakes have clearly risen. This is no longer just an encounter. It's a legal chess match, and both sides are positioning themselves for what comes next.
To cover your identity is
I wouldn't use Section 50 if I was you.
right. Okay, so do you know the law better than the police, do you?
Better than you, clearly.
What are your details?
Am I obliged to give you my details?
Yes, you are.
Under what section of law?
Section 50. We're going to have to come round there and grab your details.
Tell you what, save us all the paperwork. I'll tell you what I'm doing.
Right, yes, please, we would appreciate that.
So I'm making a video about the police station.
Okay.
That's what I'm doing.
What kind of video?
Well, it's like
For what purpose?
a report.
Okay. And what are your details?
Am I still required to give you my details?
We need to know who you are. If you're going to be filmed in the police station, a car park with officers' personal vehicles, officers are coming and going, officers wearing personal dress and not the uniform. You're going to be filming the gates and the doorway. We need to know for security reasons who you are. And if you're absolutely just filming a video, for legitimate reasons, then that's absolutely fine, but we need to know who you are.
So you just told me that it's absolutely fine what I'm doing?
No, I said if you are, but we can't confirm that.
So you should investigate first then, shouldn't you?
Well, that's what we're trying to do. If you want to tell us who you are, there's not a lot we can investigate.
This segment is where the encounter truly locks into a battle of reasoning. A tense back and forth where both sides dig in and refuse to concede ground. The officer doubles down on the justification, reiterating the same points: the clothing, the hood, the face covering, the location. It's repeated with confidence, almost as if repetition alone will solidify its validity. But here's the critical detail. Nothing new is introduced. The argument doesn't evolve. It loops, and that's exactly what the filmer seizes on. Rather than becoming defensive, he starts to dismantle the logic piece by piece. He questions the consistency, the lack of evidence, and most importantly, the assumption that suspicion alone, without clear, objective grounding, is enough to demand compliance. It's a subtle but powerful shift. He's no longer just responding. He's controlling the direction of the conversation. Then comes a key moment. The officer admits they don't need evidence, only suspicion. That single statement changes the entire tone, because now the encounter is no longer about proving anything. It's about belief. And belief, by its nature, is subjective. The filmer immediately recognizes this vulnerability and presses further, highlighting the gap between suspicion and justification. At the same time, the officer leans on authority, emphasizing that police must challenge everything and cannot simply take someone's word. It's a defensive stance, but also revealing. It shows that the officers are aware they're being questioned, not just complied with. What makes this segment so compelling is the balance. There's no shouting, no chaos, just controlled tension, building steadily as each side holds their ground. The officer relies on position and procedure. The filmer relies on logic and persistence. And neither one is backing down. By the end of this exchange, the situation feels increasingly fragile, like it could tip into escalation at any moment. The groundwork has been laid, the arguments have been drawn, and the next move could change everything.
Okay.
So you're not going to take my word for it?
We can't.
No, so you're calling me a liar?
We can't take anyone's word for it with police officers. We have to challenge everything. We have to look into things, don't we?
Yeah, so look into it.
If we took everyone's
Have you got any
word for
evidence
things,
that I'm lying to you?
yeah, but we don't need evidence at this moment in time. It's suspicion, isn't it?
Okay.
So we suspect that you may be filming for antisocial reasons.
What reasons are those?
You've got your hood up. You're wearing all black. As I say, it's a warm night. There's no reason for you to have your hood up. You've got your face covered even before you were anywhere near anybody else. So you're clearly not wearing it for COVID reasons, are you? You weren't anywhere near anyone, you weren't in the vicinity of anyone, yet you've got your face covered, you're wearing all black and you've got your hood up, and you're filming a car park where police officers are going in and out in personal vehicles, personal clothing, and we can't confirm what it is that you're up to.
So the story's actually about Section 50 and the use of it at this police station.
Right, okay.
Because it's been used on me twice here, and I've got 2 civil cases. One of them that's just been answered. I'm just waiting to hear back from my solicitor as to the amount that you're going to pay me for it. So would you like to do that again?
That might be the case, but we need to know your details. So are you going to give us your details, or do we need to go down the Section 50 route? If you want to fight it, then that's absolutely...
No, if you go down the Section 50 route, then I've got no choice.
Yeah, well,
but then I will see you in court.
Okay, that's fine.
Absolutely fine.
That's absolutely fine. If you want to do that, I don't know what's happened in your past cases. However, we are going down the Section 50 route, so I will require your details.
This is the moment where everything changes. The turning point that completely reshapes the dynamic of the encounter. Up until now, the officers have been operating from a position of control, pressing for details and justifying their suspicion. But suddenly, the filmer introduces something they didn't anticipate, that he reveals the purpose of his presence. Not just filming, but documenting the use of Section 50 itself at this very station. And then he goes further. He calmly mentions ongoing civil cases, legal action already in motion, and suggests that this very interaction could become part of that pattern. It's not loud, it's not aggressive, but it lands with precision. Because in that moment, the officers are no longer just questioning someone, they're potentially becoming part of a legal problem. You can feel the shift instantly. The authority they were leaning on now feels less certain. The conversation becomes more cautious, more measured. The officers still push for details, but there's a subtle hesitation, an awareness that the situation may not be as straightforward as they assumed. And the filmer knows it. He doesn't need to raise his voice or argue harder. The power shift has already happened. By reframing the encounter as part of a larger issue, one that's already being challenged legally, he forces the officers to reconsider their position without directly confronting them. It's a strategic move. And it works, because now the stakes are no longer just about this moment. They extend beyond it, into potential consequences, accountability, and scrutiny. By the end of this segment, the balance of power is no longer one-sided. The officers still hold authority, but the filmer has introduced something far more unpredictable: legal pressure. And that changes everything moving forward.
So can you identify yourself properly, please?
PC 3540 Jones, as I said before.
From which station?
I've just walked out of Steinbeck Police Station. I'm coming from Steinbeck Police Station.
Well, that doesn't mean you're from Steinbeck Police Station. You could be visiting, like I am.
You've just seen me walking in and out, haven't you, in my own personal car, so...
I didn't see you come in your personal car. I don't have a clue who you are. Which one was you? The one that was bumping up the curb? No?
Right, you're going to give us your details.
What happens if I don't give my details?
When you're liable to arrest.
Are you going to arrest me if I don't give you my details?
As I say, you're liable to arrest, so potentially yes.
Well, unless you tell me that you're going to arrest me, I'm not going to give you them. If you tell me that you're going to arrest me if I don't, then I will.
As I've just said, you've asked what happens if you don't give your details. I've just said you're liable to arrest if you don't give your details. So I'm asking for your details, and I'll say it one more time. You're liable to arrest if you don't give them.
Does that mean you're going to arrest me if I don't?
Yes.
Yes, okay. Well, then I'll give you my details then. Have you got a pen?
Yeah, come on.
What do you need?
First name.
And what's the wording of the law that you're using?
The exact wording of the law. We told
Which?
we told
The wording of the section of the law?
We've told you it's section 50 of the police reform that require your details because we suspect that you may be looking into social behaviour and you're liable for us if you don't. Just give us your details.
Okay, okay.
What's your date of birth, Michael?
This is the peak, the moment where tension reaches its highest point and the situation teeters on the edge of escalation. The officers, despite everything that's been said, decide to proceed with Section 50. The demand is clear, repeated, and now backed by something more serious: the possibility of arrest. And this is where the filmer makes a stand that he doesn't refuse outright. Instead, he asks a critical question, one that forces clarity. Are you going to arrest me? It's a simple question, but it carries weight. Because now the officers can no longer operate in ambiguity. They have to commit a T first. There's hesitation. Phrasing like, "you're liable to be arrested," keeps things vague. But the filmer doesn't let it slide. He presses again, narrowing the gap until the officer finally confirms it. Yes, that confirmation changes everything. Because now, the threat is real, not implied, not theoretical. It's on the table. And with that, the filmer makes a calculated decision. He complies, but not out of submission, out of strategy. By giving his details after the threat is made clear, he draws a line. This was not voluntary. This was under pressure. It's a subtle but crucial distinction. Meanwhile, the officers maintain their position, but there's a sense that the momentum has shifted. The interaction has gone as far as it can, without crossing into full enforcement, and both sides seem aware of that boundary. This segment is powerful because it captures that exact moment, the brink of escalation. The tension is no longer building, it's at its peak. One wrong move, one different decision, and this could have gone in a completely different direction, but instead it pauses right at the edge.
You don't require my date of birth.
It's fine, I remember you've been here before actually.
So am I still being detained?
Yeah, I'm just going to check you out, make sure that you're not currently wanted or anything.
So I am detained?
The thing is, we're not stupid. We know that you've come to film to aggravate a scary action. We've just calmly asked for your details, now you've given them. We can run you through and we can all be done.
I was actually doing a story about Section 50.
Right.
And the...
It's not the best filming angle in the bushes behind the police station.
I can see the cars coming in and out there.
Shut up and get everything else.
Yeah.
Shut up and get everything.
Just pull your mask down for me, please, Mike. No?
Can't do that, I'm afraid. Was you working the other night when the guy was tortured in there? A couple of weeks back. Flicking the lights on and off, depriving him of food and water. You guys working that night?
I've got absolutely no idea what's going on.
No, you wouldn't do, would you?
round did she pass? Top.
2 glasses. Yeah.
Yeah. Fine.
Yeah, thank you. Shame that's not West Yorkshire. Right, yes.
Okay.
Michael, you are free to go on your way.
What's the shame it's not West Yorkshire, the one about North Yorkshire, is that what you said?
Well, that's
You had a little chuckle there to yourself.
for my information only, isn't it?
Yeah.
Michael, you can go on your way, but as we said...
So can you. You guys can go on your way.
As we said, you've clearly come to be...
You guys can go on your way now.
You're standing in the bushes of a police car park.
I was in the, I was on the pathway.
So you are
I was on the pathway.
You are going to get people...
You guys can leave now.
So,
Thank you very much. You are dismissed.
Right, okay.
You are dismissed, guys.
Thank you very much.
Right,
See you later, guys.
evening,
Bye.
sir.
Have a lovely evening. Have a lovely day. See you in court, guys. So we've found out tonight that Steinbeck Police Station have learnt nothing. They've learnt absolutely nothing. They're still going around abusing Section 50. So we're going to have to keep visiting until they stop it. I even told them. I told them that we was already going to court. We've already been, we've already started the litigation process. But they weren't interested. They still wanted to abuse the Section 50. So we'll have to keep working on Steinbeck Police Station. But for now, guys, we're going to wrap it up. Going to move on. I'm going home, I'm going to bed. Thanks for watching, guys. See you soon.
After the peak, what follows is a slow but telling de-escalation, and it reveals just as much as the confrontation itself. With the details now provided, the urgency fades. The officer's tone softens slightly, though not entirely. There's still an undercurrent of justification, as they suggest the filmer came to provoke a reaction, a claim that feels more like a post-event explanation than a proven fact. But the intensity is gone. What replaces it is something more subtle. Awkwardness. The conversation drifts, with moments that feel less controlled, less structured. The filmer throws in pointed remarks, even referencing alleged past incidents at the station. The officers, notably, don't engage with those claims. They deflect, avoid, and ultimately move toward ending the interaction. And then it happens, the dismissal. The filmer is told he's free to go, just like that. No further action, no escalation, no resolution beyond disengagement. It's abrupt, almost anticlimactic, but that's what makes it significant. After all the pressure, the demands, the legal assertions, it ends not with enforcement, but with release. And that speaks volumes. But the final word doesn't belong to the officers. As the scene closes, the filmer steps into the role of narrator, delivering his own conclusion. He frames the entire encounter as evidence, proof, in his view, that Section 50 is still being misused at this station. He references ongoing legal action, reinforces his purpose, and makes it clear that this isn't over. It's not just an ending. It's a setup for what comes next. And that leaves the audience with a lingering question. Was this a justified use of power or another example of overreach?